We live in a very, 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 very terrifying dimension. We live in a very evil world. We live in a world where destruction and corruption reign supreme, and there's always something around the corner that takes away your joy, that destroys your happiness, that leaves you in isolation and desolation. And there's always people around to poke at you and prod at you. There's almost no hope in this world since all the hope has been taken away. It's difficult being a man in 2026. So recently, or earlier today, really, I got a phone call from one of my old associates, right? And they told me, one of our old associates passed away. And I call us, they're really I would say friends, but it's like we haven't really hung out, in like a good, 8 years, almost a decade since the last time we actually hung out and, talked and smoked and chilled and stuff like that. It's been a while, but at one time we were very, very close. And this person told me that one of our associates passed away, or I can say a friend, but even though we haven't talked, but the person that passed away, I talked to them last, I think 2021, 2022, around that time, because I remember my uncle was going in and out of the hospital because of his heart problems. And that's the last time I talked to that person. He was like, "Oh man, well, I hope your uncle stays safe, bro," and blah, 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 and whatever. So I get this phone call about this associate passing away. And this was a good person. This wasn't a bad type of guy, but he had his own mental issues, and we kind of just drifted apart, after high school or after college, a lot of men kind of, if they're not close, if you don't have football practice with people, if you don't have the exact same classes, if you don't work the exact same jobs, everybody kind of just goes their own way in this world. It's like a natural going away. But it just went to show me that I'm getting really, really older, man. When there's people that you used to see almost every single day and they just pass away, and it just creates a cascading event. It's senseless to want to participate into this evil, wicked world, man. As a man in 2026, and hell, even before 2026 and after, you're really on your own. You're really forced to go your own way, man. You're sent your own way. You really are. Think about it. If right now you have to go to work or whatever and you need some gas money, some people can call their dad and maybe get gas money, but some people can't. Some people can call a friend and ask for $20 or, $30 to fill up their tank or whatever, however much it costs for your individual specific car. But not everybody has that. Some people are going to be like, "Damn, well, I ain't got no gas to go to work tomorrow or whatever, so I'm going to have to catch a bus or walk there." Or if you're already going through emotional turmoil and emotional devastation, you go to your job and your coworkers and your boss just make it such a depressive, dystopian environment that you don't even want to be bothered with that nonsense. Then you got to deal with your home life, if you even have a home to stay in. Because some of our homes that we live in is like a prison. The people around you can dictate so much of your emotional fluctuations. And that's what I don't like about, this world, is that sometimes it's not even necessarily you. You're facing your own demons in your mind. You got to face not having no woman, not having no money, not having no damn hope, going to that fucked up job you got to go to every single damn day so you can pay bills and be broke again the next week. Then it comes to gaslighting. You have so many individuals that don't understand you. They don't understand your situation. They don't know what you're facing. And yet they want to make judgments and passing little comments about you. But in face to face, they'll never say it. You know what I mean? Honestly. And it's a terrible world. I was watching that one girl, Michaela, from Save a Fox. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but I used to watch that channel all the time. And she ended up taking her, she ended up passing away by her own hands. And it was due to online bullying. People kept bullying her. I'm like, who in the hell is bullying a girl who has a Save a Fox rescue, mission? Who does that? And a lot of people were mad, and the people got kind of found out and called out. They tried to hide, they tried to run off, they tried to explain themselves. And it's just like, we live in a world of predators. We live in a dimension where, as a man, bro, going your own way is one of the most smartest things you can do. Because sometimes there was times where I even felt like, I make these videos and I know they help people. That's why I make them, and they help me too, right? But there's sometimes where I'm like, I kind of wish I could go back to being unknown and just That way I can just have my quote unquote privacy back, right? Because it's weird knowing that there's people out there that are talking about you that are, and I don't even mean in a negative way, even in a positive way. It's just weird knowing that there's people out there that know your face, people that love your content, people that don't like your content. And it's just weird because when you're somebody that's not famous and not rich, you know, and certain people, they almost treat you like a celebrity in a way. And what I mean by that is when somebody doxes you or when somebody targets you online and continue to keep your name alive, it's very interesting when you don't have $1 million in the bank. I'm not Taylor Swift, I'm none of that, but it's like it goes to show you how many destroyed, you know like how many demons are in this world that are willing to take advantage of people who are not bothering them. And as a man in this world, you have to figure out a way to accumulate cash without going insane. Like a lot of us right now, man, I know a lot of us, if we like, if we had a choice and there was like a spaceship that came from a damn fucking space armada, and they're like, we're looking for some soldiers or whatever, or looking for men that want to go on an adventure. We're going to go on a new planet, and we need like a little expeditionary force, on this planet, There's already been an area that's been marked out, so it's going to be kind of safe in the area, but then we're going to kind of explore. So when you go there, as long as you're in the military, you're going to have free housing, you're going to have free food, but you got to do mandatory military training pretty much daily or every other day. And, let's say there's like a colony of like beautiful Asari women. I don't know if you guys play Mass Effect or something like that, but if you know who the Asari are, those sexy blue and purple alien girls. And let's say there's like an Asari colony there. How many of us will jump on that spaceship? Become some type of soldier, explore a damn planet with a new environment. Yeah, there could be dangers. Yeah, you can get eliminated and neutralized, but it's better than being trapped in your room and trapped in a 9-to-5 wage slave job and trapped in a society with no variety, a society that's designed to break a man's mind down. Society's not meant to uplift men. Point blank. Period. When your boss talks to you disrespectfully at work, do you feel that anger in your heart? Like you just want to punch him in his mouth, but you can't because that's going to lead to consequences and complications that you just can't financially or economically or mentally or physically handle, because once you get sent to jail or prison, it's a whole different ball game, right? You shouldn't have to feel like that all the time. Like I feel like a lot of us are living in this tension and this suspense at alarming rates. But let's imagine you went to another planet, another galaxy in a world, and you got your house paid for, you got your food paid for, but it's like you got to be involved with the military expeditions. And let's say you come upon a Asari colony or something like that, and you may next thing you may have an Asari wife, you know what I mean, or something like that, because the human girls don't want you. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I don't give a damn. We already know how human modern day females act. If you're not in the top, if you're not in the top percent, you're going to get ignored. Women only want the top percent nowadays. It's not like back in the days where you can just get a job as a regular, everyday average Joe, maybe a decent wife, get a nice house, get a car, and live life like how you're supposed to live it by feeling like a man. Most men are saying fuck it. They're dropping out of society. A lot of people, if they can, they're becoming neats, but not everybody can be a neat, because being a neat is a type of privilege. Not everybody has a family that's going to let you be a neat, right? I learned the hard way what it means to be a neat. I was a neat for a decade, yeah, but I was also mentally going through it. That's why people who judge me or people who talk shit, you don't know me, homie. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've seen. You don't know what I've done. You don't know nothing about me but what I say in these videos. And I'm very careful what I say in these videos, right? Especially after, getting doxxed and all that. And I know there's people listening to me and gathering information now. So I'm very careful, But what I'm saying is that men in 2026, it's not... being a man in 2026 or being a man, period, is just not a good thing anymore. Unless you're extremely attractive, or unless you got your shit together, meaning you have a lot of money where you don't have to work a crappy job. If you have to work a crappy job, that right there destroys your mind. That right there takes away your time. It destroys any type of motivation to do anything. Like, I know a lot of us, we've been through so much hell. We have family members who absolutely hate us. We have family members who are vipers, who try to smile in your face but talk behind your back, you know, who try to, you know, downplay everything that you do, who always try to sabotage you. Like, what kind of family members do that, right? You know, like, who does that? How can somebody say that they're your family member, but in your time of need, when you're going through it, when you're mentally going through it, and they know that you have mental problems or you have some type of complications, and they still attack you mercilessly and relentlessly, and then your mom is still giving them money to help them out, or your family's kind of helping them out financially, but no one's helping you out financially like that. And this person then kicked you out of their apartment, was mistreating you and abusing you inside of their apartment, talking crap about you, to their friends, doing all this evil crap towards you, you know. And then this person asks your mom for money, and this person's in their 40s. They're in their 40s, calling you a loser, but they couldn't even bury they didn't have enough money to bury their own mama, and they gonna call me a loser? Let me tell you something. All it takes is one of my little raps to go off, and then I'll go from being the black pill villain to the black pill commanding general. You give me a little fan base of people that love my music, I'm gonna go all in on rap. I don't give a fuck how old I am. I'm gonna rap my ass off anyway. I'll put my heart and soul into it. I'm not playing. That's why the demiurge never gave me a chance to make it in music. He already knew what it was. The minute I get a chance to make money from music, it's over. I'm gonna monopolize and capitalize and spit my heart out. I'm gonna rap about what it feels like to be a loser man in this position and not having nothing. Fuck rapping about having bitches and cars and clothes. Fuck that, I ain't got bitches, cars, and clothes. I'm rap about some real shit. You know? God damn it. I'm sick of this goddamn world. I'm sick of these freaking normies acting like everything is just normal. We had the Epstein files and nothing happened. We have a war in Iran and nothing happens. Do you know what the French did at the Palace of Versailles? That's all I'll say because of YouTube's guidelines and regulations. But let's take this in consideration. The French Revolution, and that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. But the problem is that a lot of men have been raised by feminine procedures and feminine indoctrination. Feminine indoctrination is brutal. They brainwash you from a young age to be a docile little punk. When you're a man and you can't really be a man, I'm not even talking about, just waking up and going to your 9 to 5, right? Any robot can do that. Any robot can wake up early in the morning and go to a job and take orders from a boss. Anybody, like any robot can do that. But a real man creates nothing from something. He takes that 9 to 5 job and he slowly saves up maybe $20 every paycheck, $10 every paycheck, $5 every paycheck, and over a course of like 7 to 11 years. Yeah, it takes that long. Unfortunately for us, we're not fucking, I Show Speed or any of these other people that just jump on TV and boom, $1 million falls into their lap. No, we have to actually earn it. And I'm not saying I Show Speed them didn't earn it, but I'm just saying that we have to actually go through real hell, real pain, real isolation, real desolation, actually go through things that destroy our minds forever. Do you know, even if I had $10 million, I'm still going to be fucked up in the head because of all the crap I had to go through? Money can't take away eternal soul scars, but money can sure as hell get you a beautiful woman to sit upon your private part, and that would feel good, wouldn't it? And also do some fellatio with a high ratio. Men in 2026, we don't even feel like, I feel so disconnected from this country, that I was raised in, but to be real, hell, due to my skin color configuration, I never feel like I fit in, but even more now than ever, I feel like Americans are finally starting to wake up. And then I heard what happened with the Charlie Kirk situation, where the person that supposedly targeted Charlie Kirk or whatever, they said it wasn't the right person, or it was a different caliber weapon or something. It was something like that, Like, I was watching I was watching VTF Valhalla briefly when he was mentioning it, and I was like, what? And then like the FBI is being weird about it. So it's obvious that the FBI is involved with that, and it's obvious that a state of Chicos, can dictate what the American government can do. Like, how? I'll say this as clearly, and I'll say this as clean as possible. There was a painter that came from Austria, and he was warning the world about a certain shekel banking system, and people thought he was crazy because they said that he did this, that, and the third to certain people or whatever. But let me tell you something: the Americans in World War II weren't saints. The Russians weren't saints, especially on the Eastern Front. Japanese weren't saints in World War II. The Japanese military was doing all types of atrocities in World War II. It wasn't just the Germans that were doing atrocities in World War II. Any real military historian can tell you that. You know, the Americans were in on it. The British were in on doing bad things. Every single nation, like when a nation's at war, everybody commits all types of atrocities at war, especially on the front lines of battle. Men are going crazy on the front lines. Men are already men are already primed to not really take disrespect. So it has to be infused in you in an early age. And in 2026, a lot of men are just tired of taking disrespect. A lot of men just want to just go their own way. A lot of men just want to sit in their rooms and play video games all day, and that's understandable because look at the alternative. Wake up, go to your job, pay bills, don't come home to a woman. You wank off to some private adult videos, play your video game, watch your anime, rinse and repeat, and go to sleep. It's like, come on, bro. There has to be more to life than just being corporate, wage servants. There has to be more. Where's the ingenuity? Where's the innovation? Where's the Einsteins? Where's the people like that in the world? Where are they? Where's the Alexander the Greats? Where are the great men of old, of renown? Where are they? Why are all the men today just like they're being held back? Like a lot of men are being held back today. We're not allowed to really pursue our passions and dreams and ambitions without falling victim to the system, right? Meaning that you can't just quit your job and say, I want to become, a fucking, I don't know, just something random, right? You like become an artist or something like that. Like, you can't do that. You can't say, okay, I want to quit my job and start doing this, that, and this when you don't have any money, no connections or nothing. That's a barrier right there. And then there's some people that don't have a job at all. How many rappers made it, and a lot of them didn't even have a job before. A lot of them were gang banging in the streets or getting locked up in jail or prison, and yet they come out and they instantly blow up, right? There's so many disadvantages men today face. There's so many obstacles. There's so many things that you have to take in consideration before you judge a man. That's why I don't judge no man. But I see somebody in a bad position, I'm like, yeah, something must have happened to him that was messed up. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to talk crap about it, especially if I don't know the man. Especially if I never met the man face to face in real life. I don't have to look on the internet and talk about another grown man who I know face to face. You know what I mean? It's going to be a different story, right? I don't go out and look for disrespect. I don't go out and look for trouble from anybody. I mind my business and stay in my lane. I've always done that. But it seems like when you're a person that minds their business, negative things come to you, which leads a lot of men saying, look, if I can't get a woman, if everywhere I go I'm being attacked, I'm being persecuted, I'm being discriminated against, I'm having people that don't like me, everywhere I go. Even when I go to work, I got co-workers and workers that turn their back on me, that talk crap about me, that try to snitch on me at work. Let's say you're at work and you just happen to just talk to somebody and just for 5 minutes, just because, but you already done finished your work. That happened to me before. You already done did your work, and then you're just talking because you already finished, and then somebody sees what you're doing and then calls the boss and snitches on you and say you were doing nothing the whole time, even though you have evidence that you completed your work and you completed your job functionalities and actualities. And that doesn't matter. They still want to punish you because when people don't like you, they're going to mistreat you. They're going to misconstrue your words. They're going to make you the bad guy when they're the bad guy that started it with you. One thing I can't stand is when somebody starts something with you and you defend yourself and then they try to act like they're your moral superior. It's like, why? Like I think what's his name? This I think that channel it's called This Prison Called Life. Him. I think in one of his videos he talked about that, how in this world it kind of trains men to like be so docile that if somebody comes to you when they physically assault you, if they slap you, if they sock you in the face, if they hit you, and you say, ow, what are you doing? And you try to, defend yourself, that person will look at you and say, what are you doing? Why are you trying to bother? Like, why are you trying to hit me? Even though they just attacked you first. It's like people will attack you when you're minding your business. And then when you defend yourself, they look like, a deer caught in the headlights. Like, oh my God, why'd you defend yourself? because a lot of people are so used to getting away with not getting punched in the mouth. A lot of people are a lot of let's be real. A lot of men today are raised like female dogs. A lot of us were raised by single mothers. I was raised by a single mother and a grandmother, but I'm not no female dog. You know, I got a lot of masculine traits because of who I was around. About a decade ago or whatever. So I know certain things that you're not supposed that certain lines you don't cross as a man. You know, you don't question a man about how much money he makes. If that's not like one of your close homies or anything like that, even then you don't question a man how much money he makes. You don't look at another man's girlfriend, especially your friend's girl, try to flirt with her. You know, you don't sit there and like smoke in another man's car or do something like that unless given explicit permission. Like there's certain little invisible guy codes that you just don't break. And also you don't get into another grown man's business when you don't fully know the truth. When you don't fully know what was going on through that man's head. Because you can look at somebody and say, oh, that person didn't try hard enough, or that person didn't do this, or that person didn't do that, or this, that, and the third, but you don't know what that person been through. What if that person didn't tell a key detail? What if that person did something that was extremely illegal and, he can't talk about it because, that reason, because of the legality of the situation that he found himself in, and he decided to, whatever. Like, you don't know, like, it's like, there's so many bastards in this world. You know what I mean? There's so many evil people in this world that think that they know you, and they think that they can uh, try to manipulate you into some type of negative situation with negative energetic manifestational frequency and connotation. And so this is why a lot of men just decide to just stay away from it all. A lot of men decide, you know what, since women don't want me, since the world doesn't want me, since my family doesn't want me, hell, even I don't even want me, let me just try to just do the things that I want. Let me wake up, go to work, because I have to go to work. If not, I'm going to be homeless and with nothing, you know. Even though you work hard, you do all that, and you still don't have a woman in your life, you still don't have a girl to pursue, and you get mental degradation from that. You get mental annihilation from that, man. You don't even have a girl to hug you. Like, ask yourself this question. When is the last time a girl has hugged you? When is the last time that you kissed a girl, if you ever kissed a girl? When's the last time you've had sexual alleviation with a female? When? 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 The answer you just gave right now is probably the exact reason why you feel, low confidence in yourself and have low self-esteem. Now, if you're one of those Chads and Tyrones, it's totally different. Because sex, like, having sexual alleviation with you having sexual alleviation to you is absolutely nothing, and it's just whatever. And then when you see guys like us in this position, you look at us like we're crazy, and it's like we're not crazy. We're not crazy. We're not lazy. We're not stupid. We're none of those things. We're extremely intelligent, but highly sensitive to emotional frequencies and fluctuations, meaning that I can't take bullcrap. I can't be in a room. I can't go to a job meeting, and I know that the boss doesn't like me. The people around don't like me. They got fake little smiles on. I can see the viper venom in their eyes as they look at me. I can see their vocalization and tonality as they talk, around me, not to me, but around me, or talk down to me. And I don't want to be in that situation. And you call me sensitive and you call me soft? Really? This is why to see the boomers, the boomers want us to just see the boomers. They used to take disrespect or whatever, but when they took disrespect and ate crap or whatever, they were able to afford a home and afford different types of, fancy things. Like, have you ever seen like those older boomers, those older guys? They'll have a summer house, a winter house, another house in New York, a California beach house, a boat, They'd have a small little plane, I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. You have all that money to do that? Or you ever seen those old men who take like old World War II tanks and they restore them? And they drive around in these old World War II tanks or these old World War II planes? They're doing that all because they had boomer money. A lot of us will never be able to have wealth and power like that to expand into our hobbies and what we really love. Nowadays, as a man in 2026, you have to take your hobby and turn it into a business. Because whatever you love to do, you have to turn that into a business. If not, man, you're going to be mentally screwed, economically screwed, and just screwed all around, even worse than the position you're in now. I grow tired of this dimension. I grow tired of it. Like, I just got through beating Dante's Inferno, and maybe in the next couple of videos I have gameplay footage of that, right? But in that game, Dante's Inferno, the devil pretty much comes and steals your girlfriend or steals your wife, Beatrice, or Beatrice, whatever her name is. I think it was her name. And you got to go through all the levels of hell and battle demons and monsters and all types of creatures of the damn night. And as I was playing, I was thinking, you know what? This reminds me of my life. Every time there's a bad situation, my grandma passes away, my uncle passes away, my other uncle passes away, both my aunts pass away. This happens. I don't have a girlfriend in my life. I haven't felt the touch of a woman in years now. Like it makes you, it breaks you down. And then the little times you do get lucky with women here and there, if you're lucky enough, it never lasts because most of those girls are sexually promiscuous, right? And that's another thing too. Is grown men online getting so obsessed with another man's, activities, It's crazy. It's like if I don't bother you, if I haven't mentioned you or said anything about you, don't come to me. Don't speak on me or my life. Because in real life, face to face, eye to eye, man to man, would you be saying those same things on the internet to my face? No police around, nobody to call the cops, just me and you, face to face. Now say that crap you were saying on the internet to my face right now, and I guarantee you wouldn't do it. Just like that, just like that bop and that thought that I made a video on her boyfriend saying this, that, and the third. I'm like, yeah, like you don't know if I have a firearm or not. You know what I mean? You don't know that, right? You don't know what I got because I'm not going to show it. Right? The best thing to do is let people think you're weak and pathetic, and then when they think that, they underestimate you. Then you show them what you really are. Right? They think you're weak and pathetic, and they try to do something to you, and you defend yourself. And now they're the ones looking stupid. They're the ones looking dumb. They're the ones dumbfounded and confused. You see, the psychological ramifications of being in isolation and desolation over a period of time can alter the mind, can alter the senses. Do you know that it's scientifically proven that when you're alone and isolated for such a long time, that it actually alters your brain chemistry? It actively alters part of your brain. It physically alters your brain when you're alone for such a long time. That's why a lot of men are just saying, F it, they're opting out. A lot of men are just going their ways in this world because this world damages you. This world turns you into a monster. This world turns you into a creature of servitude to its evil ambitions. I never asked to be born into a world like this. I never asked not to make it in my dreams. I never asked not to have pretty girls like me, right? I never asked for that. I wanted to have cute girls like me. I wanted to be rich and successful. I wanted to have $1,000,000. I wanted to have the Billy Coupe, Lamborghini, and Ferrari. I don't care if that's not what you wanted, but that's what I wanted. Damn it. I had the actual talent to make it. You may have not had that talent to make it, but I did, damn it. I'm not supposed to be in a black PO community. I actually can rap. I actually can write books. I actually can make beats when I try hard enough and have the right damn equipment. I actually have talent. Damn it. But yet I'm trapped in hell. I'm trapped in oblivion. I'm trapped in a prison and going crazy. Let me tell you something. As crazy as this sounds, but I ain't going to hold back. When ER committed his atrocities and did wickedness and evil, would it be crazy to say that in some of his videos, I was like, damn, what this guy is spitting, you know what I mean? Like, damn, you can't disagree with it. Now, I'm not agreeing with what he did. What he did was horrible, was wrong. Yeah. I condemn it. All the blue pilled, all the normie people. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. Repeat like a damn parrot. We understand it's bad. Just like the Führer in Germany was bad. And now we're seeing what's coming into fruition and fomentation. The obliteration of the whole Middle East. The whole Middle East is on fire with Iran and all that. So I guess that Australian painter wasn't so wrong, was he? But I'm just saying that I feel like a lot of us are in this position because girls didn't just choose us. Girls did not choose us. And I don't care what anybody says. When a woman chooses you, especially a cute woman that chooses you to be her mate, that raises your confidence, that makes you want to go out and accomplish things. Have you guys ever talked to a girl on Tinder and you're just talking to her for a couple of days and in your mind, since you rarely get any female play, you start thinking that's your girlfriend, or you start every time, like, this just happened to me. Let me just tell you really quick. Whenever I messaged girls on Tinder when I was into that deeply, every time I see a new message from a girl that I was talking to, or quote unquote talking to, even though I was probably like her 900 message from all the hundreds of men she was talking to. But every time I got a new message from a girl, that feeling inside I would get excited like it's Christmas morning. I get like I got a new Xbox, like when Halo 2 first came out, when Halo first came out, when Xbox first came out, or back in the days when I used to play GameCube, and to get my favorite game was Luigi's Mansion and Pikmin and stuff like that. And I got so happy when I seen that, under the Christmas tree or whatever. That's how happy that you get when a female even just acknowledges you. So imagine having that all the time. It's going to raise your confidence and belief in yourself exponentially. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I do not condone what ER did. I know ER was, crazy. He had everything. He had a dad in Hollywood, and what he did was absolutely evil, was absolutely wrong, and I condemn it. And I do not agree with it. But some of the things he said, you know, it vibrates with a lot of men that are lonely and isolated and desolated and can't get no women. And it creates an irritation. It creates a type of agitation. It creates a type of soul obliteration. We got to stay strong, man. We have to stay strong.